Yo, what is up, everybody? It's your boy Soto here with Autumn Windbags, back with another one. 2 days in a row, two lives. What you know about that, son? You know your boy is always here. He's always looking to give you what you want. All right. So it's a very special day today because today is the scheduled release for the 2024-2025 season. Happened about a half hour ago. So the plans were for RJ and I to hop on here, got everything squared away, everything set up, and rock it. 5 o'clock, we all here biting our fingernails, ready to go, right? Like rubbing our hands together. Who we gonna get? Who we gonna get? And a monkey wrench was thrown in the plans. Unfortunately, the entire Republic of China, the Communist Republic of China, hates the Autumn Windbags, and I believe hates RJ maybe even more, and would not allow RJ to get online at all in China. So RJ's in China right now for the UFC. As we all know, RJ works for the UFC, which he mentions probably every show, twice a show. So he works for the UFC. He's in China right now, right? And he hits me up a couple hours ago. He's like, yo, I won't be able to do the show. So you're going to have to do it by yourself. I was like, huh? So it's too late for me to get a guest, right? It's too late for me to, move my schedule around, right? I wanted to do a live because I think it'll be a good back and forth with you guys talking about the games and who's up and this and that, right? But the problem was nothing was done. No thumbnail was made for the show. No SEO was made for YouTube and for the podcast. Nothing was done. No rundown. No questions for one of Windbags. Nothing. And I have a day job like that I have to go to, and I don't work from home like RJ does. So I didn't have an opportunity to do any of that. So I race home, hop on here, and what really is sad is my cats aren't used to seeing me this early in the day. I usually go to the gym and work afterwards. So they were super needy. I'm talking like sleeping on my hands, rubbing on me, crawling all over my stuff. And I had to like kind of shoo them off. But I got a show for you guys. It's going to be great. So without further ado, what we're going to do is take a look at the 2024-2025 schedule for our Las Vegas Raiders. Let's get it. All right. Thank you, Vic Tafer, for putting this on your Twitter. That's where I pulled it from. This is what we got going on. So we're going to start off September 8th, which is my birthday, at the Chargers at SoFi. So I may be going to that game because it's my birthday and it's like right down the street. I may go. Who knows? And that's a 105 start for us. If you notice a couple of things here, okay? We have 5 early games. The rest of them are later. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, there's 5. 5 early games. But we're going to get to all these right now. So let's go week by week. All right. First off, soak it all in. Soak it all in. I know it's something that we've been waiting for quite some time. Oh, what the heck? There we go. Waiting for quite some time. And I've been waiting for it too. So let's take a look at this. My birthday, make sure to send gifts. September 8th, at home, against Harbaugh, at SoFi, against the Chargers. This could be... I know I don't like facing teams that are like going like through a big, massive change, especially early in the season, for the simple reason that you don't know what you're going to get. If you have tape on a team, and even if they're a better team, right, or not a better than you, but like a middle of the road, maybe a little bit better team, right, at least you know what to expect. I know what Harbaugh wants to do, right? Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball. He wants to play, time control. He wants to, play stout defense. He wants to get after the quarterback. He wants to pick his shots. I get that. But how is this offense going to look? The offense, they lost their best running back. They lost their two best receivers. I think they even lost a tight end. Like they're losing a lot. They lost a lot, but they also put together quite a bit too, especially up front. They added Joe Alt, and that's going to solidify their offensive line. And they still have Justin Herbert. Now, here's what's happening in the NFL right now. When a quarterback is young, like in his rookie deal, right? That's when you get him the franchise receiver, right? Once the quarterback needs to get paid, they're like, look, we're paying you the money that we're paying you because we see that you can get this done even if you don't have a franchise receiver. Look at what's happening right now in Buffalo. Look what happened in Kansas City, right? Watch and see what happens in Miami with all those receivers making all that money. There's not going to be enough left for Tua. Just let's watch on that, okay? Look what's happening with Cincinnati. They had Jamar Chase and they had T. Higgins. T. Higgins, I don't see him being around much longer. They already had to get rid of Boyd, let Boyd walk, who was a really, really good number 3 receiver. So this is where things are going right now in the NFL. If you're lucky, you'll keep one guy. So the one guy in Kansas City is going to be Kelsey. Who knows how much he's going to play. But this is what's happening right now. And it just so happens that the 2 receivers were up at the same time. And what we're looking at right now is a completely different offense from the Chargers. They're not going to be this, Herbert in the shotgun just winging it all over the place. It's going to be completely different. It's going to be a more traditional, 2-back set a lot of times, and they're going to run the freaking football. That's what they're going to want to do, and they're going to pick their shots down the field. So that's week 1. Week 2, Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens came on at the end of the year last year with a little bit more of a passing game. I think it kind of bit them in the ass, trying to pass a little bit too much. That's why they lost in the playoffs. But they added Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, in the beginning of a season, even though he's older, this dude can still go. He hurt us a couple of seasons ago when we played up there in Tennessee. He had a decent game rushing and receiving the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see what this offense looks like with a bell cow back. They haven't really had a bell cow back for quite some time. They had a lot of guys that were just kind of patchwork putting together here and there. Baltimore just hasn't been able to keep any of the running backs healthy. They have problems keeping the running backs and their DBs healthy. It's just, I don't know what's going on over there. But early in the season, that could be a tough matchup for us. All right. It's going to be, a good test to see where we are going against a team that's favored to probably come out of the the North. I went back to like 1999 with that. But in the AFC North, they're probably one of the favorites to either win the division and definitely go far in the playoffs. They have 2-time MVP at quarterback. They got more weapons. And they got, Derrick Henry, for as old as he is, he's still productive back, especially when you have a lot more around him. I don't know that Derrick Henry has ever had this much around him like he has here in Baltimore. Plus, he has that Baltimore defense. Okay, next week is week 3, September 22nd, against the Carolina Panthers. This is our NFC foes, which is the NFC South. We're playing the NFC South this year. Interesting matchup late. But for right now, we're talking about Carolina Panthers. And when you think about Carolina Panthers, you think Bryce Young and their crazy owner over there. This is a home game. So this is finally, after 2 road games, we're going to finally get a home game against the Panthers. this should be something for us to, I think, really solidify who we want to be moving forward. As much as we say that that SoFi is another another home game for us, we've only won once. And so we're like 1-3, I think, at SoFi. So we need to make sure that we start off on the right foot. And I think these first 3 weeks, actually, we'll talk about this first 4 weeks. But these first 4 weeks will be a really good sign to see where we're moving forward, going forward. So Carolina, they're in rebuild mode, man. I still see them as probably one of the lower tier teams in the NFL, even though they've tried to put more weapons around Bryce Young. I'm not 100% sold on Bryce Young. I didn't like him as the top quarterback coming out in his draft class in 2023. I thought C.J. Stroud was the superior quarterback, and he didn't really show me a ton, even when things were good. I will see what happens. I think that the pressure that our defense can bring, we got some dogs on that defensive line. We got some dogs out there that are looking to eat. Tyree Wilson looks like a freaking new man. He looks like he's 235, but dude is 270. And we got Christian Wilkins in there. We got Kuntz and Max on the outside, just waiting, just licking their chops, ready to get at 5'10", thin, maybe 185, 190 Bryce Young. What we're looking for here is this is a test for us, because in the past, when we've had a little bit of hype behind us, whether it's people feeling pressure, and we'll talk about who I'm talking about later in the schedule, people feeling the pressure, can't play with expectations or pressure, or they can only play as the underdog or whatever it is, we haven't been able as a team, as a franchise, to handle this as a favorite, to move into games and win them big as favorites. We're good coming back as underdogs, but as favorites, a lot of times, I think back to 2019. I think we were like 3-1 or something like that, and we went into Washington and they beat the holy crap out of us. We need to make sure that we beat these teams that we need to beat. And it starts right here with Carolina. I think they're one of the lower tier teams in the NFL, and we need to make sure we handle business there. Okay, week 4, not going to be an easy one. The Browns, even though they freaking threw out their like 16 quarterbacks last season, they still made the playoffs, and they have one of the better defenses out there. Myles Garrett is a problem. I don't care how old he is. I don't care how young he is. I don't care where he lines up. This dude he was Max Crosby before Max Crosby. He was like a relentless, just game wrecker against the pass, against the run. And on special teams, he blocks kicks. This dude is an absolute beast. You take a look at Nick Chubb coming back from his injury. Take a look at some of the weapons they got there. They got Cooper and they got Judy now that they got in a trade. They picked up in a trade from the Donkeys. And, you got Mr. Massage Parlor coming back in after injury and supposedly healthy. What we're looking at right now is our second home game in a row. What do we do against a big test at home? Do we flex our muscles? Fans, Raider Nation, are we going to go out there and we're going to make it difficult on this Cleveland fans? I don't care if it's 60-40 Browns fans in the stadium. That 40%, we got to stand up, like AP says. We got to stand up, and we got to let it be known where you're playing. So that's going to be a big test for us right now. So right in the first 4 games, we have a couple of games that we should win, and we got a couple of games that are going to be pretty tough. 3-1 out of this 4 is going to be like, wow, that's going to show me a lot. 2-2 is like, okay, that's kind of to be expected, We'll see where we go from there. It depends on the losses. 4-0 would be like, holy crap, this is something special. right? Because the couple of teams that we have here from the North, all 4 teams in the AFC North are ballers. Those teams play like we talk about playing. Line up in front of you, punch you in the mouth, no excuses, no apologies. That's how we want to line up. So we got to bully the bully. They want to come in. We go to Baltimore and we bully them. So we take care of the Harbaughs right away. Jim week 1, John week 2. Okay, bang bang. We want to be those bullies. We got to show that we can protect our home turf against the Panthers, and then when the Browns come in, they want to bully us. We got to make sure that we can handle it and give it right back to them. All right, that's the first 4 weeks. Week 5, October 6th, we are at the Donkeys. Another 105 start. Denver has some issues. They're paying Russell Wilson a lot of their cap, and Russell Wilson is not on that team. Because of that, they're having to roll out either a Stidham or maybe Bo Nix, who knows. But they're going to have to roll out a not optimal option at quarterback, even if it's Bo Nix, because he's so young in his career at that time. It could be, the week 5, it could be, okay, well, I think he's ready to go. Let's put him in there type of thing, right? If that's the case, we got to freaking put our weight on him. And these are the games, again, inferior competition. These are the games we need to go in there and we need to put a hurt on them. And just like AP says, don't take your foot off their throat. You just got to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. Keep scoring, keep stopping. All right. Next week, week 6, at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The rivalry continues at the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've had a pretty good luck recently going into Pittsburgh. The last time we were there was a few years ago when was the last start by Derek Carr for us, when he had a pretty rough second half with some opportunities to win. He threw a couple of interceptions and kind of sealed the fate for us there. As of right now, they have a new quarterback. They hopefully have for them a new mentality. Mike Tomlin gets a ton of passes. Just because he hasn't had a winning record or a losing record in any season, I think he gets a lot of passes because ultimately the team hasn't been good for quite some time. Even before Big Ben retired, they weren't that great. So this team has been just floundering for a long time. And they have what's in essence 2 one-year rentals in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. One thing that you have to take a look at. This is why I'm not a huge stat guy. Like there's these like stat monkeys out there who all they do is just spit out stats. Oh, well, he's good. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. But there's a lot of things that quarterbacks do to manage games that don't show up on a stat sheet. There's a movie out there. I don't know if you guys saw it. I think, what is it called? Trouble with the Curve or something like that. I think it was. What's his name? Clint Eastwood's in it, and that hot little redhead's in it, and I think Justin Timberlake's in it. Anyway, the gist of the story is, John Goodman's in it. So Clint Eastwood is a baseball scout who's losing his eyesight, and he has an estranged relationship with his daughter, right? And the new guys are, I think, what's his name? Lillard or something like that. I forgot. Anyway, the new school are just about crunching numbers, like Moneyball type of thing, right? And the old school guys are like, no, you got to look at the guy. There's context and all this stuff, right? There's things that don't show up on a stat sheet that can make a player better, and that still holds true now. Numbers tell you a lot, but it tells you more so where to look. Then you have to put on the film. Then you have to look at the context. Because a guy can have great stats, but they're getting their ass kicked every single week, and he's throwing the ball a ton in the second half. Like, there's a lot that can go into these stats, okay? So Russell Wilson last season, they weren't great. They were just okay, and there was a lot of turmoil in that locker room. And, I mean, I dare to say that it wasn't all, the head coach. I think he had a lot to do with it too. I think that people are who they are. Mike Tomlin has shown that he's able to keep a locker room kind of together and keep it from falling off the rails. We'll see how it works out. I think they still need a lot more help in the on the outside. They got one guy out there. I think that's really good, and I think that defensively, a lot of their guys are injury prone. They get hurt a lot. So I think it's going to be a good test for us to go out into that environment. Thank God we're going up there and it's not that cold right when we go up there. So we got our 2 NFC North away games out of the way. Actually, no, this is at home. Oh, this is a home for us. I'm sorry about that, guys. I misread that. What's the next one? Where's the Bengals? Bengals November 3rd. Okay, that's still fine. Okay. Next week 7, another semi-home game against the Rams, October 20th at SoFi. So another Southern California game. I might go to that game too. Who knows? We'll see. But the Rams are looking to move to turn the page from Aaron Donald. They got the Jared Verse from Florida State, and I think they're very happy with that pick. Offensively, it all depends on at the neck of Matthew Stafford. They have a couple good guys on the outside. Running backs may be a little bit of an issue for them. Offensive line's a little bit shaky. But ultimately, the last time we took the Rams for granted, Baker Mayfield went in there off of 2 days of practice and beat us. All right? Okay, here we go. Finally. Home game, October 27th, right before Halloween, against the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's going to be a good one. We all know that we're the last team to give them a loss. We all know about what AP said about the Jordan rules and now the Mahomes rules. We just need to go out there and we need to play the way we want to play. And that is physical, in-your-face, hard-nosed football. You can do all the tricks you want, but you're going to get smacked in the end. With all the weapons they're trying to bring in here, they're trying to patch everything because you know what? That receiver's making a ton of money. You know what? That D tackle's making a ton of money. You know what? That tight end's making a ton of money. So the bulk of their salary cap is tied in to 3 players. So that's why they had to let a lot of DBs go and let Tyreek go and all this stuff, right? So right now, and Rashee Rice just can't stay out of trouble. He's out there racing and drunk and running out with guns and all kinds of stuff, smacking people around at clubs. That guy, we're not going to see that guy I don't think he's going to see them for a while. We're not going to see that fool for a while. So still early in the season, it is a home game, October 27th, which means we do have to go to that bitter cold later on in the season, but that's okay. I think we're going to be okay with it. We won there last year. All right, week 9, what was it, 2021 season? Rematch against the Bengals. We're at the Bengals. This is our last NFC North away game. Good thing about that is we're done with the NFC North after this game, because we got the Ravens are out of the way, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Bengals. Those are all out of the way now. Okay. It's kind of a good and bad thing. The good thing is that we get them all done before it starts to get super cold. Okay, because we play in the dome, we play in the desert, right? Typically doesn't get super cold where we play. The other side of it is these a lot of these teams are going to be teams that we're going to be fighting for playoff spots with. And it would be much easier, better for us to play those teams late so we can gain those games on them. And unfortunately, it is what it is. And we get a taste of these guys. And we're done with the NFC North after this. All right. Okay. Week 10, bye week. Pretty good bye week, man. Pretty good bye week. So 9 games, bye week, and then we got 8 games. So really smack dab in the middle. You can really just kind of push. You don't have to really save anything. Just push as hard as you can. Get that week of rest and then come back again. Week 11 against Miami. Again, at Miami. I think we should have beat them last season. I think there was a few mistakes made, and if not for an underthrown ball by Aiden O'Connell late, I think that could have been a touchdown instead of gotten intercepted by Ramsey in the end zone. But yeah, Christian Wilkins gets his clap back for the Dolphins toying with him and not wanting to pay the man his money. And that's going to be week 11. They got some weapons out there, man. They just saw Odell Beckham Jr., so they got Waddle, they got Reek, they got Odell Beckham. I think Odell Beckham is a fine number 3 receiver. Last season, he was outplayed like heavily by a rookie and outplayed by Nelson Aguilar on the Ravens. I think he doesn't have a lot of burst and separation. He still has great hands, so he makes those highlight reel catches, but they have to be highlight reel because he can't get that separation anymore. And that's going to be week 11, November 17th at Miami Dolphins. All right, water break. All righty. Next week, we get the Donkeys again. At home, November 24th. And this is something that I think, again, I don't know. Does Sean Payton have him clicking? By this time, you would think that Bo Nix is already just entrenched in the starting position. How well they're doing, how well they're not doing, we don't know. What we do know is Payton has a huge, raging, thick, veiny boner for Bo Nix, so he might just throw him in there to see what happens. All right? So there's that. I think we should be able to handle business again. The next one's the big one. Now, look, if you guys hadn't noticed, okay, we only have 2 primetime games as of right now. Week 18 against the Chargers could be a primetime game. They could flex it because we don't know yet. But as of right now, we only have 2 primetime games. And here's the first one. We have a Black Friday game against the Chiefs at the Chiefs. That's going to be November 29th at the Chiefs. It's going to be a tough one, man. Playing up there is tough anyway. We won last year because of the defensive touchdowns and our defense playing really well and everything. So we can definitely win that game. But I think it's no surprise that we're in a primetime game against the Chiefs, for them to get their clap back, because the last time we played them was Christmas Day, standalone game, and we beat them. I think the NFL wants to give the Chiefs their clap back. So we'll see. Hopefully we handle business on that one. All righty. Next week, December 8th, at, again, another road game at Tampa Bay. So the weather's not going to be an issue in Tampa Bay, unless it's really rainy. But normally the weather's fine out there at that time. I used to have an office in Tampa. I was there all the time. Not a big deal. We'll see what happens. They still have Mike Evans. The defense is aging up front. We'll see what happens. The offensive line, they're trying to patch it together. We'll see how it works out. They're kind of an up in the air type of team. But right now we're going to see a few games in a row of teams that we don't play normally that much. And next week is December 16th. That's week 15. Monday Night Football against the Falcons. This is a cheeks fucking game. This is a booty cheeks game. Like, I can almost guarantee you that they're going to put 2 games on this Monday night. Like, I haven't looked at the entire schedule yet, but this is an ass matchup. Like, why would you put, like, whatever, bro? It's just not going to, it doesn't move the needle for me. The Falcons, whatever, man. Kirk Cousins does his thing. He's got some weapons on the outside. Their defense is all right. They're pretty bad. I mean, they're last in the league in sacks almost every single season. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I think our defense is going to be able to handle that on the bright lights of Monday Night Football. Next week, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if last season was any indication, this should be firmly in the middle of the Jacksonville collapse. Maybe a clapback game for Gardner Minshew, who started his career with Jacksonville. But yeah, that's going to be a home game at 1:25, and that's week 16. Week 17 is a biggie. Your Las Vegas Raiders at the New Orleans Saints. I don't know if things happen the way they happened last season. I'm not sure that their quarterback is going to be starting at this time. Notice what I said. I said, if things happen this next season the way they did last season. I'm not just making a blanket statement like, oh, he ain't going to be starting. No, but I think that with the drafting of Spencer Rattler, somebody who's, got some juice to him too, I think that they have somebody that they can look forward to maybe grooming for the future. But this is definitely the Derek Carr clapback game. This is the Derek Carr-led New Orleans Saints. We're at the Saints. He's going to want this game bad. Like, he's going to want this game really bad. And this is when we need to put him down. Like, he must go down, and he must go down hard. And we need to show him that we are a new Raider team with leaders that lead by competition. We don't have leaders that have a position given to them every single season where we can't draft any other quarterbacks because it's going to make them uncomfortable. You know, everything that we do here is around competition. This is a new Raiders team. I want Derek Carr to still be the quarterback of the Saints, so he can look across the line of scrimmage at our defense and see that dog that every single one of these guys have looking to rip his head off. Figuratively, of course. I don't want anyone to rip his head off literally. But that's a huge game for us towards the end of the season. It could have playoff implications for both teams. The Saints have like the second worst like strength of schedule in the NFL. So they should be in the mix for a playoff spot. And we end the season week 18 at home against the Bolts. We start the season in a season. Nice, like poetic start the season with the same team that you end the season. Pretty cool, man. What I want to take a look at here is it's going to really tell a lot about how the NFL sees these franchises as how they schedule this game. It could be a Saturday game. It could be a Sunday night game. It could be a Monday night game. It could be a Thursday game. Who knows? They have a lot of different opportunities to make this a primetime game, but it has to mean something. It can't just be Harbaugh and the Chargers going against Antonio Pierce and the Raiders. It has to be for something on the line. That is the schedule, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments below. I like it. I love it. I want more of it. It's a very exciting time in Raider Nation because what we're looking at here is a lot of stuff that can go really well for us. I don't think that we have a lot of games in a row here that are just like super, super tough games. I think probably the hardest stretch we're going to have is going to be what? And there's a bye week in between too. By 7, 8, 9, 11, maybe. That's probably the toughest stretch that we see here. Let's see. No. Because there's, all these games are winnable for us. All of them. But what we're looking at here is like an extremely winnable game against the Chargers. Tough one against the Ravens. Extremely winnable against the Panthers. Tough one against the Browns. Extremely winnable against the Broncos. Extremely winnable against the Steelers. A winnable game. I wouldn't say extremely, but a winnable game here. Tough game here, against the Rams. Tough game against the Chiefs. Tough game against the Bengals. We got our bye. Tough game at Miami. Extremely winnable game at home versus the Broncos. We got a tough game at the Chiefs. We have a winnable, I wouldn't say extremely winnable, but a winnable games here. These next 5 games we should have hopefully a nice push towards the end of the season, because these are not extremely tough games to end the season. If we're sniffing the playoffs, like we're, after 12 games, we're 7-5 or something like that. These 5 games right here, we can run the table these 5 games. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, because you got to travel to Tampa, which is not going to be, super cold. And, even though it's in December, it's going to be nice weather out there. Maybe a little bit rainy, but it's going to be nice weather. You got a dome at night, and you got at home against Jacksonville, and you're playing at another dome team, and then you got a home game. So we're looking pretty good here. I think this last stretch is going to be good for us. I think we can, if we take advantage of this last stretch, it can really propel us to a good seeding in the playoffs. All right. So what do you guys think, man? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know in the chat. What do you guys think? What's going on with this? What's your prediction for wins and losses this season? And maybe hit it up on One Up Windbags. All right. Funny story. How funny is it? I don't know if you guys have been following this story at all. But let me bring it up right here, because I got to bring this up here. Mark Davis's girlfriend is pregnant. So this is like a total, I guess they're dating. I don't know. I don't know if they're dating or not. That's you don't know. With rich people, you don't know what's true and what isn't, honestly. And Mark Davis is an extremely wealthy human being. What's been posted is here you go. Raiders owner Mark Davis suspected 26-year-old girlfriend influencer Hayden Hopkins is pregnant. So it's not even clear if this chick, Hayden Hopkins, is actually his girlfriend or just some chick that he likes to hang out with. But in any event, this chick is pregnant. And this is a hilarious picture of freaking Mark Davis pumping his fist like, yeah, my swimmers still work. So it is hilarious. But honestly, for Raider Nation, we need to cross our fingers and hope and pray that it's his. Because if it isn't, it's kind of hard trying to walk around like you're the freaking big guy bully when your owner is like getting cucked by someone else and getting your chick pregnant. So we gotta cross our fingers that this is Mark Davis's kid. All right. Because if it isn't, it's a lot of ammunition for other people to kind of come down on our franchise. So hopefully Hopefully, Mark, hopefully for you, hopefully it's yours, buddy. Okay, so one more thing that we're looking at here. I jumped on live yesterday, and John Gruden and his team lost a court ruling in Superior Court of Nevada. What was the ruling? Well, the ruling is, as you can see down on the bottom, Gruden can't sue the NFL and Roger Goodell. Why is that? Okay. There was a contract stipulating that you cannot sue your employer, okay, in the contract that you signed for being, a player or a coach in the NFL. And that was what the NFL's stance has been from the very beginning. These are the rules. He signed a contract. He's not allowed to sue us. Well, I don't know that the Las Vegas Raiders were named specifically in this lawsuit, just the NFL as an entity. That was the contention of John Gruden and his team. The reason why this has taken so long is pretty much because the NFL's lawyers and team wanted to take this long. They have unlimited funds, man. They're printing money. They're like Saudi princes. Like, they got so much money. They got money falling out of their every orifice in their body. That's how much money the NFL has. Just a ton of money. So they don't care how long this lawsuit goes. Okay. John Gruden and his team, John Gruden is a single guy. John Gruden got paid. So John Gruden has money, but he doesn't have NFL money. Okay. So basically what the NFL is trying to do is they're trying to wait out John Gruden and his team. Unfortunately, this puts a big hamper on where John Gruden can go from here. I don't know that if there was, I'm not saying there was or there wasn't, because we don't have any concrete proof of this. But if there was any type of settlement offered, I think that settlement is off the table now, because the settlement was, if there was one, okay, I want to say that I was told that there was, but it hasn't been widely reported any number or anything like that. But if there was a settlement offered from the NFL to John Gruden, that was pretty much an insurance policy, so the case didn't go into discovery. That's pretty much, like I said yesterday. Sorry if you guys heard it yesterday, but that was pretty much what the NFL and Roger Goodell wants to avoid. This is all about avoiding going into the discovery phase. And winning this ruling really put a hamper on the ability of John Gruden to get into, and his team to get into discovery. So, is this it? Is this where it stops? No. John Gruden and his team can file an appeal. John Gruden and his team can take it to a higher court, like the Supreme Court. But as of right now, if everything stays the same, if nothing changes, John Gruden's grievance will not be a lawsuit. It will be brought to the NFL to go through arbitration. And the arbitration will be heard by either Roger Goodell himself or somebody that Roger Goodell appoints. So total kangaroo court. This is something that's just, it's a travesty, honestly, how they're able to keep doing this. But the thing is when you're a big money maker, people tend to look the other way. When you got deep pockets and you can do things really good for people in high places, those people are going to look the other way, and they're going to convince other people to look the other way too. So that's where we are with that right now. All right, guys, one last thing before we get to One Up Windbags. Raiders approved for a 1-year deal to hold training camp in Costa Mesa. We know we talked about this a little bit in the last show. But the Raiders have spent like $750,000 to repair and upgrade the facilities for training camp. I don't think personally, as much money as the Raiders make every year, and they do make a ton of money, I don't know that they're going to spend that kind of money for a 1-year thing. I think this is going to be something that they're going to keep doing for quite some time. All right, everybody. Let's get ready for some What Up Windbags. Okay. First What Up Windbag is from Keith Pardini 9065. Keith, thank you for being a member. You're right, Juan. Yes, I'm often right. Discovery was the big issue to support John Gruden. I thought one of the other issues was the arbiter was affiliated with the NFL, kind of a fox guarding the hen house. That's what I talked about, man. Absolutely right. If either it's Roger Goodell or someone that Roger Goodell appoints as the arbitrator, it's going to be just a freaking travesty. It's not going to go much further than that. All right, next one is A. Spivey. Again, thank you for being a member, Mr. Spivey. Backing off from quarterback after the first 6 were gone was super smart. Bowers will change this offense, and AOC and Minshew are far better than anything left in the draft. Well, I think for sure Minshew and O'Connell were better than anything left in the draft for this season. And I am convinced that Telesco wanted to either move up, right? Move up to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks, or take Penix, and that was it. There was no other choice for them to take a quarterback. They weren't interested in McCarthy. They weren't interested in Bo Nix. It just didn't work out for us because Atlanta had other plans. But ultimately, I'm very happy with Brock Bowers. I think Brock Bowers is a faster, harder to tackle, more dynamic Dallas Clark. And if you remember, Dallas Clark was like, oh, he's a little undersized at tight end coming out of Iowa, this and that. Nah, dude, Dallas Clark was a big reason why Indy had, a lot of the success that they did, because he was also a matchup nightmare. He was a guy that if you put a DB on him, he would body him. And if you put a linebacker on him, he would just too fast for him. And Brock Bowers is faster than Dallas Clark was. So I think it's going to be a good pickup for us, and it's going to really unlock our offense. All right, next one. Sam Demand. Sam, again, thank you for being a member. Guys, memberships are open. Memberships are available. If you want to support us in the show, this is how you can do it. We don't have sponsors as of yet, but when we do, that's another way you can support us. Buy the merch, subscribe. It's only the entry level is only $3. You get first priority for What Up Windbags. You get priority for live chats. You get to see the show before anybody else on recorded shows. And we're going to work on some stuff for like game day stuff and things like that. So Sam Demand says that ringtone joke was funny. If you guys didn't hear last show, there was a younger kid who said some borderline racist joke about somebody at the gym. And I'll tell you something right now. It was tough for me to just sit back and be like, whoa, you can't say that, because it was pretty damn funny. And you have to be kind of in that locker room environment where you have to be okay with kind of like, talking crap on one another. But yeah, it definitely was funny, but it was definitely something that I had to address with the young man and let him know that, yeah, man, you really can't say stuff like that. But all right, guys, that's it for me today. Everyone, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate you guys. We want to make sure that we're putting out content that you're going to enjoy. Part of that is being able to do the little extras, get better equipment, give us more access to better guests and content and stuff like that. And that all comes from how you guys help support us, viewing us, sharing us, talking about us. subscribing, all that stuff really, really does help, guys, and I really appreciate it. All right, guys, that's it. My time for today. Until next time, everybody. Peace.